I wonder how this works. There's an instruction manual in the memory. I better look at it. Sets off the detector. Makes sense. It's detecting the fence and the railings, of course. Weird. The detector shouldn't react to an aluminum can. I have to get these boards out. They're nailed together. Sealed. A reference number on a plate. H103123.
Vic. Do you need to confide in your old friend Claire?
Do you have any details on Hawker? What's he been up to since the FBI canned him?
I did a little snooping. He's been doing small security jobs. Claims to be a security consultant. I called one of his employers. He described Hawker as the solitary type. Doesn't trust his co-workers. Also, a few investigators let me know that they had been contacted by Hawker. He asked them a number of questions about the killer's latest murders.
Hawker has supposedly revealed information about the killer to Hernandez. Clearly, to his mind, he's still in the case.
Seems like he's really developed a bit of an obsession over this. Be careful with him, Vic.
Before he snapped, Hawker was an exceptional agent. Hopefully he's kept his investigative skills. Don't worry, I'll be careful.
I have to go. Call me if you've got a problem.
Nice shack. A bit morbid, but it's got style.
So, James, are you spending your retirement brooding over the past?
Not at all. I have a whole new life now. That whole thing is behind me.
Really? I heard you were continuing to investigate. And as far as I know, your social schedule is not what you'd call busy.
Don't start with me, Vic. Whose fault is it that I'm where I am? You betrayed me.
Some learn from their mistakes, James. Doesn't look like that's the case with you.
I admit, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have pulled the trigger. But I did it to further the investigation. You sabotaged that by denouncing me.
You know perfectly well that I wasn't the one who squealed to internal affairs. If I had, you would have been up for murder charges. All I did was refuse to cover up for you. You went too far, goddammit. Here, I'll profile you. You are egocentric, irresponsible, selfish, and paranoid.
And you are anal, rigid, authoritarian. And you've got the biggest mouth I've ever had the displeasure to encounter.
I could say the same about you. Can we talk? Listen, James, let's stop dwelling on the past. The killer is still out there, and this is our last chance of getting him as a team. Can we bury the hatchet? Paloma Hernandez may still be alive. She's counting on us.
Fine. We can't change what's happened anyway. So, this house is supposedly connected to the killer. I'm not surprised. It fits what I've been able to uncover. An isolated area far from the big urban centers. But it means the killer's got to travel to go hunting. I've made a major breakthrough on the killer's psyche. He's totally obsessed with film and cinema, and particularly with the actress Veronica Lake. You could see it in his videos. I'm convinced that he chooses his victims following criteria linked to his obsession.
There's evidence in the house that suggests the killer went to film school. That would confirm your hypothesis.
It was by catching an old movie again that I made the connection. It has to do with very small background details. That's why we didn't see it before.
Well, I have a name. Our suspect's name is supposedly David Carson. Claire's trying to dig up something about him.
We'll end up getting him, Vic. After all this time, we're gonna get him.
I'm at an impasse with the computer in the cellar. Can you give it a look? You've always been a bit of an IT guru.
Okay, show me what the problem is. Let's see. The system is well protected. It's impossible to enter it without the password. Luckily, the killer's just crazy enough to use a significant password instead of choosing random characters.
Of course.
Let's try this. No, too simple. Veronica, maybe. No, it's not the right password. Yes.
Have you found the password?
Aquaman. Veronica Lake's real name. The killer's obsessions are the key to his psyche. The contents of the computer are open to you. It's your turn to play now.
photographs of the victims. Psycho's family album. Killer's so crazy about movies, he must have left a camera on somewhere. A hallway with concrete walls. This must be the anti-nuclear shelter. If this file contains the killer's bank account number, the Chicago office could perhaps buy a new coffee maker. The kid's computer key should let me decrypt this file. I hope this worked. I'll just have to see. It's sealed. An outfit like the one the killer wears. It's not my size. This box has everything he needs to shackle the victims. No visible marks. There's a bit of blood on the box.
It's really amateur stuff. I should be able to do better. See if you can find the console's technical manual. That'd be a big help.
I'm 2 steps ahead of you, Garrus. Here's the manual for the Fisheye 42. Have fun.
I'll have to do without video, but we should hear the sound broadcast by the surveillance mics.
Nothing.
Interesting. We should be hearing something. The internal speakers must be blown.
Hello? Can you hear me?
It got cut off. Anyway, the console mic is not working.
That voice. It could be Hernandez.
If that's live, she must have heard the feedback when I turned on the system. But it could also be a recording. The console has recorded the voice. You can digitize the sound with your smartphone to analyze it.
Sounds like a radio broadcast. I think it's a local station.
I'm going to try to resolve an image, but it may take some time.
A list of first names, including mine and Hernandez's. These seem to be the victims' names, but the last names don't match.
I bet this is somehow linked to the killer's obsessions. He must associate his victims with fictional characters.
I'm not sure I understand.
Helen Graham, Dolores Greaves, are all roles played by Veronica Lake. In the list you're connected to, the Letty Stanton character. The name doesn't match at all. Different motive. He's after you because he wants to eliminate everyone on his tail. Prior to vanishing, maybe.
If that's his plan, I don't have much time to stop him. I'll copy the list into my smartphone. I might need it later. Access control. Let's see what door I can open. That's it. The anti-nuclear shelter is opened.
Do you have something new?
I've managed to open the shelter hatch. I'll go down and try to find Hernandez.
I'm going with you.
I'll call Garrus for backup.
Let me show you something. His last masterpiece. It's called The Betrayal. It's my grandmother who's burning in this painting. She betrayed the one who loved her with all his heart. My mother left me, just like all the others. The young Vladana who made this sketch, based on her memories of her meeting with my grandfather. Isn't it a true masterpiece? He knew how to capture the intensity of the moment. Managed to unmask me. It's a shame. I would have liked the game to have gone on a bit longer.
Our relationship, it wasn't a coincidence, was it? You had everything planned from the beginning.
I didn't plan our meeting. You're the one who contacted me during one of your investigations, remember? When I saw your name on my screen, I thought of Gustav McPherson, of course, your grandfather, who Mark Ackerman immortalized in his painting. Could it be that you were his descendant? I made some inquiries, and when I knew who you were, I decided to include you in my work.
So that's it. All these months you were just pretending? How could I have been so stupid?
Vic, you pretend to be as tough as nails, but really you're soft, sentimental.
Richard, how could you have become a murderer?
True artists must rid themselves of all the inhibitions that limit mere mortals. They must overcome all taboos. My grandfather made me understand this. I have freed myself of mediocrity. I've touched the reality which surrounds us. The brutality, the fear, the suffering, the death. Death has filled the void that I have always felt deep inside of me. This absolute, implacable. Its beauty terrifies the weak of spirit. The act of murder, Vic. It's a deeply moving artistic experience. Have you never sensed this? You who keeps company with all these victims and murderers?
You're completely insane.
Oh, Victoria, I'm free. While you and everyone like you live your lives like blind larvae, imprisoned by your comforting certitudes.
Ackerman killed so he could fill his canvases. Did you murder women to emulate your ancestor?
You don't understand. He didn't kill to paint. My grandfather's true body of work isn't the paintings. His art was murder. By putting these women to death, I've paid homage to Mark Ackerman's genius. I've reproduced the murders that he committed. The paintings are merely the testimony. In embracing my heritage, I had to go beyond mere pictorial imitation. I had to immerse myself in the creative act itself.
Good God, you really are sick. You seem so convinced of what you're saying. Why all this insanity? Because your mother abandoned you? She wanted you to have a chance, a future she couldn't offer you.
She betrayed me. Her only child. Like Beatrice betrayed Mark. Like you would have done too sooner or later. You always end up leaving. I hate you for this. But don't worry. I don't hold grudges. I offer you redemption by placing you at the center of my work.
Richard, I can't let this go on. Please, come to your senses. I'll do what I can to help you escape this madness.
Beatrice offered the same thing to my grandfather. The illusion of peace in a false universe composed of drugs and electroshock. When Mark finally rejected that weak semblance of a life, she turned her back on him. She left him, just as she left me, by keeping the truth of my heritage from me. So, I'm gonna have to refuse your help, Vic. But I'm offering you mine.
Everything's going as planned. I've got both of you. As for Hawker, I took care of him. Let you go? Let me think. Sorry, I've got to say no. There are so many possibilities, so many ways to make you suffer. You and McPherson. I must consider this carefully. One thing's for certain. This game ends with me as the winner. Hawker's hanging by a thread. Well, a rope. I hung him from a tree. Isn't that what you'd expect from a murderer? See you very soon, gorgeous.
Asshole! Locked. McPherson? Can you hear me?
thought that cell was empty.
I haven't eaten in days. You don't have anything, do you?
Sorry. All I had was a few stale cookies, but I was hungry. Who are you? I thought the killer only went for women.
Gary Anderson. I saw the abandoned house while I was out hunting deer. I came in to poke around. The killer took me by surprise while I was snooping upstairs. I tried to escape by going out the balcony, but he caught me. I've been held here for months. He's been torturing me for months. I can't take it anymore.
Have you been here a long time? Have you tried to escape?
I made an attempt early on. I was locked up where you are.
What did you do?
I improvised. I used the fork that he left for my meals. I unscrewed the grate on an old air vent.
And then what happened?
The killer came back right before I made it into the shaft. He convinced me not to try again. Then he threw me in this cell, which is normally reserved for women he's gonna kill. I've been here ever since. In here, the ventilation shaft is welded shut, and the cell door can only be opened remotely. I haven't got a chance.
Do you still have the thing you used to unscrew the grate?
Yeah, I managed to hide it, just in case it might come in handy again.
Throw it over. I'll try to catch it.
We're not going anywhere. What's the point of discussing it?
It's too far. Maybe I could pass through here, but it's too high. I can't climb up there, and it's impossible to push the bed against the wall because of the pipes. Those cookies were disgusting, but I couldn't help finishing the whole pack. This box is in my way. Locked. Perhaps I've found only a part of the solution. It's screwed shut. I had to kick it hard, but it worked. I'll get shot. Amphetamines. It's empty. I should neutralize this camera. There's no way this bastard's keeping any images of me. I should barricade this door just in case. An electronic lock. I don't have the key. I feel a little safer. Locked. McPherson, do you hear me? It's me, Paloma Hernandez. McPherson, wake up!
Ugh. Where am I? Hernandez? Christ, I feel so groggy.
We have to get out of here, McPherson. We have to try to escape.
Escape? What? Later. I'll think about that later.
Do you know what the killer intends to do?
He abducted us because he needs poker partners. Now let me sleep. I think I'm gonna take a little nap. I'm not feeling well. Leave me alone, Hernandez.
This digital lock must open the door.
Who's gonna die next? You? Me? Your friend?
The killer uses a digital locking system to lock the doors. Have you ever seen him punching in the number from your cell?
Yeah, tons of times. It's 5 or 6 numbers. I'm sure that the code for your cell door begins with a 4. The last digit, I think it's a 5. But I'm not sure about anything else. But what's the point? It's hopeless.
I found an empty box of amphetamines in the medicine cabinet. I guess the killer uses it to drug his victims.
He gives me some to take regularly, until I become dependent on them. When he wants to torture me, he stops giving them to me. The suffering makes me crazy.
Do you have any pills left? My friend might need them. The killer drugged her with tranquilizers.
I could give you a couple of pills, if you find Susan's wedding ring. She hid it in your cell.
Who's Susan?
She was very dear to me. He murdered her. The ring is really important to me. Find it, and I'll give you what you want. I've lost all hope of leaving this place alive. I'd just like to not suffer anymore.
McPherson, wake up! I've got to talk to you! I noticed a digital locking system. We have to input a code. But what is it?
Code? That sort of rings a bell. I found a series of codes in the cellular computer.
Do you remember the numbers?
I can't concentrate. Hold on. I entered them in my smartphone. The only complete code that I have is for the hatch.
I don't want to open the hatch.
I've also got a series of first and last names. On the list, my first name is connected with the name Stanton.
Am I on that list?
Yes, Paloma. Martin. If Hawker's right, it must be the name of a character played by Veronica Lake. I think I'm gonna take a little nap.
Gingerbread. Looks a little stale. This isn't gonna get me out of here. It's too far. There's a crack in the wall. I can see something shining. There are two names engraved on the ring, John and Susan.
Who's gonna die next? You? Me? Your friend?
Here, this will ease your hunger.
Thank you.
That's not your name on the ring. It says John.
Susan and I were close, but she wasn't my wife. Just a friend.
I have that ring you talked about. Take it and give me the amphetamines.
This wedding ring, it's all that I have left of Susan. Here's the last pill.
McPherson, wake up! I've got to talk to you! I found you a little upper. Take this. It's up to you now. I don't want to die here.
Thanks for pulling me out of there, Hernandez. So, you can make yourself useful when absolutely necessary.
There's a man locked up in the other cell. He was the one who gave me the amphetamines. He says he knew one of the victims, Susan. He might be able to help us. It's just that
he seems pretty disturbed. If he's been here for a while, I'm not surprised.
When the FBI notices the disappearance of all these cops, they'll send agents after us, right? Do you have a plan to get us out of here?
We're gonna have to improvise. Stay on your toes, stay alive.
Have you found a lead on the killer's identity?
For now, I know his name, but not his face. Doesn't make any difference. We need to concentrate on surviving, not on whether or not he's got a mustache.
I think Hawker's dead. The killer got him.
The fact that he's not shut up in here with us is not a good sign. As long as I haven't seen a body, there's hope he's still alive. I'm not so sure about Garrus, though. I have a hard time believing he could have avoided falling into the killer's clutches. That sicko out there, has he talked about his plans?
Not really. And I'm not sure I want to know.
Nothing. Something's jamming the signal. The sheriff's metal detector. What is it doing here?
We have to get out of here. I don't want to die here.
This grate must be from the air vent. So, you're our partner in misfortune. Thanks for the pills.
Don't thank me. I don't know if I did you a favor. The sleeping pills helped to dull the suffering.
How did you end up here? Are you from around here?
I found the house while I was hunting in the woods. My name is Gary. I have a farm near Ashland.
Are you Gary Anderson? The county sheriff was investigating your disappearance. I thought you were dead.
He took me by surprise in the house. I don't know why he didn't kill me right away. I would have been better off.
If you've been here for a while, perhaps the killer has revealed some of his plans? Megalomaniacs love to boast.
Don't underestimate him. He doesn't talk without a reason.
I wouldn't make the mistake of underestimating him. No, we're dealing with a master of manipulation.
He didn't say anything to me. Just that he intended to settle some outstanding issues.
Have you talked to Susan Girelli?
Yes. The killer abducted her shortly after locking me up. He murdered her. Poor Susan. She was so beautiful, so sensitive.
Did you know her before her abduction?
We had an affair. Now she's dead. And soon, we will be too.
We're gonna try and find a way to get you out of here.
It's impossible to escape. There's no hope. You have managed to get out of your cell, but that doesn't mean you're free. He won't let you go alive.
An empty amphetamine box. I've had my dose.
I'm coming with you.
I think you better stay here. Bar the doors. I'll come back to get you.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna see if there's a way out. There's a computer in the lab. We might be able to make contact with the outside world.
All right. I'll keep both doors secured so the killer can't get in.
Good. I'll be back. Leave the porch light on. Good. Let's be careful. This sicko could be anywhere. Walker. James, I should never have made you come here. Killer must have used this for target practice. Oh, this won't help me. I really thought this was the end of me. I'd rather have a doctor, but this should work. Something's buried here. It's a mine. The blinking light indicates that it's armed. It looks like a pressure release mine. If I step on it and then remove my foot, bam. There's no way to defuse this thing. But I might be able to neutralize it by leaving something heavy on it.
when the FBI notices the disappearance of all these cops, they'll send agents after us, right?
I saw Hawker's body outside. The killer really went crazy with it. God, I'm gonna make him pay for that.
Hawker claimed to have discovered the killer's obsessions, but it didn't help him.
It's great. I could use it to weigh down a mind trigger. Circular mass with a few metal pieces. There's absolutely no doubt about it. It's a landmine. This target is pretty heavy. I could use it to neutralize a mine. Piece of a grate. I should be able to neutralize a mine with it. It'll prevent the trigger from releasing. Hear an electrical sound. Seems to be coming from the grating. This box wasn't here before. It's locked. Insulated electrical wires connected to the grate. Bike wheel. It's half buried. I could improvise some kind of lockpick or tool with the bicycle spokes. This base is connected to the keypad box. I just have to find what can be plugged into it. A pattern and some initials. They were probably carved by the killer. This plate is screwed on. Can't remove the keypad box behind it. Maybe this box keeps the power on, or turns it on. Oh, there's a sensor light.